Go. Sarah, come on.
Hello and welcome to yet another response podcast. Today we're covering the great movie Liar Liar, starring the famous Jim Carrey.
Wow, poisoning the well already. God.
Sorry.
Wait, are you saying he's not famous? What?
I'm saying
Well, no, it's
it's a great
from all the
movie.
other ones.
What?
Listen, fuck it, we don't make money anyway.
Yay!
Max, stop being retarded.
No, stop! I want to try. I want to go straight. I'm a podcaster. I'm a podcaster.
I am monetized. I am monetized, Mr. YouTube. I am monetized.
Thank you, Mama Susan Senpai.
I'm not great at improv, guys. If you hadn't noticed.
We're a bunch of fucking retards. Don't worry about it. So we watched Liar Liar. Good old daddy being a douchebag movie, but then he's like, maybe I should be a douchebag. And then his son's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't. Sorry, I'm freaking out.
That is a startlingly accurate plot synopsis of this film.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Something
he's
that
a
I was
douchebag with a heart of gold, and he plays that really well. Like, you can tell, even though he does shitty things and he misses. Who the fuck is slapping their arse into their microphone?
I'm not slapping my arse. I'm slapping my dog's arse. Okay, goddamn. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if you should talk about that on the air.
I didn't realize I was getting bestiality.
Whatever you're into,
man.
But, yeah, let's keep.
Well, I gotta tell the truth for the next 24 hours. I'm fucking my own dog, damn it!
Oh.
No, he got all excited because I was doing the fucking stupid good doctor shit, so he's been like freaking out. But yeah,
oh wow, he must really love surgeons.
He's like my owner's a surgeon?
He's wondering if his owner is retarded.
Spoilers. He's right. But yeah, we watched The Good Doctor. I think it's really cool that Daniel Day Kim brought it over from Korea. You know, it's like a really cool thing that he directs it. And like, I mean, I've only known him as like Johnny Gap, but like even in that and like Always Be My Maybe, he seems like a really good actor.
I mean, yeah, he did introduce us all to the concept of autism blackface.
Yeah. And then got weirdly like popular for it.
Suddenly and without reason.
It's like, oh, this actor is doing his best to like hold it for this scene. It's like, yeah, but that actor made this scene happen. So like,
was he in Lost?
I don't know.
I feel like he was.
Yes, he was one of the Asian people.
Oh, he was an Asian person.
How creative!
I
He's
never
the
knew
Asian guy from 13 Reasons Why.
I never knew any of the characters from Lost. All like was Jacob the smoke. Was Jacob the smoke monster?
But you know who? I don't know either. But you know who wasn't a smoke monster was Jim Carrey in the movie called Liar Liar.
But he did have the claw.
He did have the claw, which was possessing him. Oh
and a very blue pin.
Royal blue.
Yeah.
I wish when I wrote on my face the calligraphy came out that absolute clean cut, by the way.
Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like he has to use the truth. That's the point.
Oh my god! I just realized you couldn't remake this film because he would be telling his truth instead of the truth.
Shut up.
You say that?
Well, I mean,
we had that whole conversation.
Oh, isn't that what everything's about?
Fuck no.
What? What is this movie about?
Absolutely not.
This movie's about the absolute truth, right? Because
yes,
even he was saying
the only truth that exists, the one and only.
So the premise is that the fucking guy, he's a lawyer, man, and he's bad, telling the truth, and the son's like, hey, man, it sucks. You should stop doing that. And so
I liked the foreshadowing on that, with the son literally telling his teacher that his dad's a liar.
Liar, yeah, it's very subtle. It's the little subtleties of the second line in the movie.
The hiddle double D's.
So something that I was thinking about throughout the whole movie was the not connections, but the similarities between this movie and Mrs. Doubtfire. Because
an odd comparison.
I would say,
what?
Please,
hang on. Wait, what?
Elaborate on what you mean by that.
Well, they're both movies about a father who is deemed as incompetent, and or well, maybe not incompetent, but
yeah, I was
not
gonna say Jim Carrey's problem in this movie is not that he's actually incompetent as a father. In fact, that's the first thing he says that he believes is true that somebody else can test, is that he's not actually a bad father. He just doesn't show up enough.
right. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So basically, it's about a divorce that's happening or has happened, and the lengths that a father will go to see their children.
Well,
That
he
Mm,
not
didn't.
really the plot of this one though.
exactly.
Yeah, but he
Mm.
doesn't really go to that much lengths to
I
remember.
mean, he
Like
does
he's more focused.
stop a
No,
plane.
no. Well, he stops playing towards the end of the movie, but that's not the key thing.
Yeah,
that
that's
they
not
Yeah,
the
that's
central
right.
conceit
Yeah.
of the
Like,
movie. The central
Miss-
conceit of Mrs. Doubtfire is, hey, my kids might be taken away from me. This is how far I'm going to go to make that not happen. And it, borders on the psychotic and the illegal. Whereas this one, it's like he's already there. It's just slipping out of his hands.
Mhm.
But like the thing of them going away, that comes in later. It's not about him trying to stop that until like, the central thing has already happened where he was already losing them.
Yeah, that's why
It's
the
a
wish occurred in the first place.
yeah. It's a different framing, but you get the whole kind of like, I don't know, the divorced dad trying to become better thing. That there
Yeah,
is
that's
a bit of a trope with that. It's just
Yeah.
once you get into the specifics of like actual plot,
Yeah.
the comparisons start to get very thin unless it literally is a fucking cookie cutter 90s bullshit straight to TV movie. Because a lot of those actually, yeah, you're right, they did have basically the same plot.
well,
But
and
it's
it's
an
too.
because there's so many of them. It's just interesting you pick Mrs. Doubtfire as like the most immediate comparable one.
I guess I wasn't aware of the others,
It's
but
the problem.
Well, there are.
It's one of the more famous ones, sure.
yeah, and it's two comedy like masters showing like at the top of their game.
It's weird.
Yeah, but oddly enough, despite all the comedy it has in it, I would say that Mrs. Doubtfire is a lot more of a drama than this one is. Like, there's a lot more serious moments and serious stuff going on in that movie than there is in this one. Like, you wouldn't say that Mrs. Doubtfire is like him like flexing his comedic muscles, really.
I mean, I think
a little bit. I think he kind of was. Yeah,
Not to the level that Jim does
crap.
in this movie. Like, this movie basically hinges entirely on Jim Carrey's performance and the comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plot basically gives him like excuses and scenarios in which he can pop off with his physical
Max, look at
weird
your
made
phone.
of rubber man bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would be curious to see, because I think I had the hot take on this one. Did everyone agree with the outcome of this movie? Like, did they think that was a good moral lesson to learn, or like?
What do you mean?
I don't think this is a good story in the terms of. I honestly don't think he deserved what he ended up with.
Getting his ex back at the end is probably like the main thing I would disagree with. I don't like that. I think
yeah, that was weird.
the obviously not very comfortable but still perfectly reasonable dynamic of they tried being married, they didn't work out, but they both still very much love the son they have together, and they want to end up in a place where that all works out. I think that was actually better, more healthy,
that's yeah.
better moral. Whereas getting her back at the end, it's too simple, it's too easy, too clean, and I think like the setup of the movie could have been paid off better than that.
And I know this is kind of a nitpick, but like the chaos that like is caused of like his quote unquote like, what do you want to say?
The wish?
No, not that. Well, partially, but it's the idea of him trying to get his like moment or whatever. Like he's trying to stop. So we're talking about the climb. I guess we're just gonna skip to it. Yeah, Liar Liar is a fucking fun movie. Just go watch it. You're having a fucking gay old time. But the end of the movie, he's trying to stop them from leaving in the plane, and the way he does it is by stealing a fucking thing making the plane slam on its brakes, and then him like completely destroying like multiple carts full of people's luggage. Now, it's weird to think about, but like what he did is like massively illegal to the point where he's affected a lot of people's lives. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's okay because it's like the kiddie movie, so it's fine. But there's a part of me that always thinks about, it's like, man, he's kind of legally fucked right now.
You can get away with
he's in a lot of trouble.
This was pre 9/11.
No, but
even pre 9/11, you fuck with a plane that's trying to take off, you're going in a cell.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're probably going in a cell. You're never going to see sunlight again. It's more serious now, but it was never something that was.
Well, there
like,
was
okay.
a time skip there at the end after the whole because remember he literally says like I broke my legs or something like that, so they're not going to take me to jail right away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the implication is that he did go to jail, but then obviously after that he got.
I don't know.
No, didn't it? Wasn't it? No,
it's a year.
I was going to say Greta bailed him out, but that was
that was before, and it was a year later from like that incident towards like the very end of the movie.
Right. So we have the final wrap up.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's like it's something like that. It's like, yeah, that's like he's done a lot of shit that would get him in a lot of trouble, and considering that his career is in question as well. Because yes,
Right.
he is.
He's fired as fuck.
Yeah, he's fired as fuck. He is a good lawyer, but like the reputation thing, I believe, would like completely fucking upend everything. You know what I mean?
Not even just the reputation, but like if you're very successful in your career and then you have what everybody around you will interpret as a full fucking mental breakdown, it's from now on going to be you were a good lawyer.
And
then the incident happened, and now you're not a lawyer anymore.
He's definitely going to be disbarred. And like, not to mention,
I wouldn't go so far as saying disbarred, but he is like
after
fucked.
The incident in the airport, he more than likely is disbarred.
Well, I don't know exactly how that shit works in like for like lawyers like breaking law and shit like that, but yeah, he's definitely has like a black mark on his reputation. So like, despite the movie being all wholesome and shit like that, there's a really dark implication of like how badly this like, and let's call it what it is. It's basically a curse. The son puts a curse on him, and yeah, he's forbidden from selling any kind of lie or any kind of untruth for like 24 hours. At least it's a very funny moments though. But so wait, Ninja, are you saying you don't like the movie's story?
Okay,
or what?
So I couldn't help but be reminded of that video that Southpaw did, where he was talking about Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire one.
Right.
I think it was 2, but the one where Mary Jane is dating that other dude.
Harry, yeah, that's 2.
No, she's not dating Harry.
No, it's the astronaut.
No, it's not Harry. It's the astronaut guy. Yeah,
she's dating Harry
Jameson, maybe. Yeah, it's somebody's.
It's Jameson's
but anyway,
son.
it's Jameson's son, and she's basically like leaves him at the fucking altar to go be with Spider-Man, and we're presented that as like, yeah, our protagonist is finally getting the girl, and it's like this feel-good moment. But if you actually dissect out what happened and the way she treated him and just everything that played out, it's like that's an incredibly shitty thing to do that he in no way, shape, or form deserved. And I kind of felt the same way about Jerry in this movie. Like, don't get me wrong, he's awkward as fuck, but he is trying his best for her and for Max to fit into this family. And he clearly cares about them. He's clearly putting in the time, the effort, all of that. And it's like, even though Fletch has fucked up countless times, broken so many goddamn promises, he's like, give me one more chance. It's like, no, motherfucker, we've already given you 100 million chances. It took a literal supernatural wish to get you to get your shit together. Fuck you. You know, yes, he's a good dad when he's there, but to me, it just felt like, man, that's too little too late. And Jerry just gets absolutely shat on in this movie. I thought for a minute he was playing by James Marsden. Like, fuck, man.
No, it's Carrie Ellis.
No, I know. I'm saying that dude gets shit on in all of his fucking movies.
He's literally
like,
the cuck of all movies.
Yeah,
Right.
it's weird. Like I don't understand why they portray him as like the bad guy almost. Like there's not really a bad guy in this movie because it's not that kind of story, but he basically just gets 100% dumped on to the extent of even if he had agreed to like let Max stay or let her and Max stay or whatever, again, like Slur said, Fletch and the wife get back together. So he just gets totally fucked off. And it's like, why?
Fuck's sake.
Why did that happen? Like it just doesn't send a very good moral. It's like, yeah, you know, Jerry did his best the entire
My
time.
game is broken.
No, you didn't let it fucking fix. No. Sorry. Wyatt's an idiot. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It sends kind of a mixed message of like, you know, do the good thing, put in the good work, you know, be the person who actually earned it, and you get nothing. But be the lovable fuck up, you know, and it's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna give him one more chance, even though we absolutely shouldn't, based on any form of logic whatsoever.
Yeah, like I do like pretty much 100% agree with you. There is a small thing of like, could you still argue that they're out of she doesn't really love him, and that would be kind of a fucked up thing that she really shouldn't be fucking with him?
I mean they do say that their relationship has only been like 7 months. It's very clear from the plane scene that they haven't even crossed the I love you bridge yet, and he's asking her to move across the country.
Yeah.
There's also the conversation that she has with him in the kitchen where specifically it's when they're talking about the claw.
Yeah.
And he's basically asking her to like, how is it different? And it's like, dude, if you don't understand that,
then
that
yeah.
shows a pretty big, you know, like level of you're not on board for this. You're not ready for the type of relationship that involves me having to share custody of my son with my ex.
Mm-hmm.
Because that all gets very, very fucking complicated. But I mean, even though he's a little naive, I mean, everything he does, you could say the same thing about Fletch. Is like he means well. You know, he's clearly not antagonistic, or you know, he doesn't do anything to like push her or like force her into anything. Like even when they're on the plane, he's basically like, you know, hey, I'm gonna bow out. You know, like he basically makes the decision to do that.
Yeah.
So he's not pressuring her or being, you know, abusive in any way, shape, or form. So
for all intents and purposes, he is a good guy. And
yeah.
And like, yeah, for the idea that I'm trying to think of like how to say this. The idea that like, should she have gone back to Jim after all that shit? Like it's a bit subjective because it is all about like the heart and love or whatever, and like he is kind of going through something that would change him. You know what I mean? But it is a supernatural element, and it, like, yeah, it basically had to be like basic divine intervention to do any like consequences to his character. So I agree. And yeah, I agree. Jerry just goes to be a surgeon later.
I feel like it's the nice
you know what
guys.
he did wrong.
Yeah.
What he should have done was be the main character. Then he wouldn't have been treating with that weird background character NPC placeholder husband energy.
Oh, you know, that's probably what he should have done, actually.
He should have put on his main character face.
Yeah, rookie move.
Rookie move.
I feel like it's the nice guys finish last sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, because you have Fletch is basically the nice guy. Like he's portrayed as being a good guy especially in terms of his being a dad, more so than him being like a husband. But he's definitely not portrayed as like a bad guy or abusive or, you know, wrong. Like it's implied he cheated on what's her name a bunch, but
yeah, it's implied that like it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's less implied, more outright fucking
stated, yeah. Like,
listen, he was just trying to get her to squeal, okay?
I'm just trying to get her to squeal.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you basically have two characters that are both essentially good, but they're in like conflict, you know? So it creates this weird sort of paradigm.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting is that Jim said in an interview once that he loves playing characters that are kind of forced to conform to something. Like in this case, he's forced to conform to the truth. Um, in Yes Man, he's forced to say yes to everything. He loves that dynamic.
Mhm.
It's also his physical comedy really lends itself to I'm struggling against myself.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Shit. When he's walking into the courtroom and it looks like his skeleton's trying to actually climb out through his mouth.
Yeah, he's a very what's the word? He's very good at like what you call it?
Writhing.
Like he always like every movie that he has to like do like physical comedy where he actually has to like fucking contort or like act like his body is actually fighting him. Like
yeah, when he's trying to describe
really
like
good job of that.
the case that they'll have is like and he's struggling to fucking say anything.
Was that just in the bloopers?
No.
Well, no, that was in the movie. Yeah, like something that like Jim Carrey really did well, but like this is one of those things where it's like there's a lot of I know it's like kind of the thing of the it's a product of its time kind of thing, but like the a lot of the adult humor, I would say, it's kind of raunchy and like really over the top.
Right.
Like, ooh, can they say that without like a kid turning to their parent going, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What actually is the rating for the movie?
Yeah,
I
actually,
don't think it's actually a kid's movie at all. I think it's a family comedy.
Really?
Yeah, definitely a family movie.
Yeah, but like even with
a
the
family
we all
comedy,
watch this
it's a bit
children, but we shouldn't have. Yeah,
yeah, but like family comedy means you can watch it with the whole
it's
family.
PG-13.
Okay.
So it has like some sex-related humor, but nothing's ever explicit. So you're
Yeah.
old enough to know what sex is, but you're not really old enough to like be confronted by it really, because you don't have those feelings properly. But you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, this guy likes he's unclothed with his boss because he thinks it's going to help his job. It's like at 13, you know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like my parents, we all love
13,
Jim Carrey,
I guess, yeah.
but they would not let me watch this as a kid.
The first moment still kills me. I've had better, and he's hung up on it. Like,
bruh.
Damn, like you can't even say, yeah, it was good for me. No, I've had better, as in you're garbage.
And she's
you are
like not
so
just his
shit
boss, she's like one of the partners at the company he works for. And he's like, yeah, you pussy mid.
You pussy. But no, her pussy is not even mid because he can't even honestly say it was good. Think about that. He can't tell her, yeah, I had a good time. No, your shit's weak sauce, dog. And that is the god honest truth. It's funny. Like it's like, damn, dude.
And he's
Fucking
just
brutal.
so focused on it. He's just like, I've had better.
I've had better.
I mean, honestly, if you ever said some shit like that, you would fixate on it as to like what the actual shit was happening in my brain that made me say that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally him in disbelief. Like, why did I say that to what is essentially my boss?
It was only fucking to advance my career.
Yeah,
She
it was
wasn't
literally fucking to advance my career. But
she
like,
wasn't bad looking either. So like the fact that her pussy that
Hey,
bad,
just because you're
Jesus
good
Christ.
looking doesn't mean your fucking sex ain't mid. You can be hot as fuck and be shit in bed.
That's true.
It's true.
Look at me. Oh.
For all we know, Gorlock may really be a destroyer.
Shut fuck up. Go. Shut your fucking mouth. Did anyone else see the fucking bullshit he sent me this fucking morning on Facebook? Like,
what?
Jesus. No, don't worry about it then.
Down the rabbit hole y'all go.
No, don't worry about it. It's not a fun rabbit hole.
It's a lore video.
It's not.
What?
It's on Chris Chan levels of why the fuck do I know this knowledge, and now I hate the fact that I know this knowledge.
No, has Ninja accidentally gone down the Chris Chan rabbit hole?
No,
and he's just
he went down the Gorwalk the Destroyer rabbit hole, which is vast. Have you seen it?
I was going to say I have not seen
words,
this.
but sure.
Yeah,
it certainly is.
More like, yeah, more like a Gorlock chasm, but you know,
chasm. Yeah. Man, fucking.
See, this is why the fucking birthday wish curse would do absolutely nothing to us. We're too awful to lie.
We're too horrible. We are always honest.
Actually, kind of like it is. So, it was that conversation he was having on the playground. It's like that some adults need to lie. What's everybody's feeling on that?
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Lying is obviously something we teach kids is bad. Don't do it. But real life is more complicated than that.
Exactly.
We just trust the kids will figure that out as they get older.
There's literally no such thing as black and white, and like that's the idea. Then here's the thing: a child with fucking like reality warping powers doesn't understand that. So when he put the curse on him, he didn't like really understand the fact that like it's a lot more complicated than just simply lying. And honestly, the problem with Jim Carrey wasn't the fact that he was lying; it was the fact that he was just like non-committal to his son. That's actually the main problem. He also kept
lying about the reasons, and I think that like hurt the kid more. So that it's in there.
It's in there, but like, I just the core concept of the movie like is like one of the things where it's like, wait a minute. Is this actually what I mean? Yes, obviously the movie happened and that's how we fixed it, but like, would it logically be the way that we fixed it? It's like, not really, because he still has to do other shit for his job. Well, assuming he even has that. Well, yeah, I'm assuming he has that job, which he probably doesn't anymore.
Yeah, there's the possibility that he'll start his own law firm, but
like, once again,
and the house they're living in the end is fucking swanky as shit. So clearly they're getting money from somewhere.
They said California. I thought this was in New York. Am I tripping?
No, it's California.
No, it's definitely LA.
Yeah, okay. No, they said California in the court because they actually used California law to make it so that minors can't legally sign contracts.
Which, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, because if you were in like Alabama,
yeah,
you'd be fine.
Yeah, you're right.
And more than likely, the person would have been related to you.
I think it's also just some places, and
it's a harmful stereotype.
This is outside of American shit, but I think it's like if you sign a contract when you're a minor, it's invalid at the time, but if you're still abiding by the terms of that contract as a legal adult, you are enforcing the contract as an adult. The contract is therefore binding as an adult. Mm-hmm. So some places will get fucky around how exactly that applies.
Right. So the strength of the curse.
It's weird. I think it's weirdly inconsistent because
the thing with the arm is like really
because like
I was more gonna talk about the bathroom bit because we had to like stop like mid conversation on that.
What, the bathroom bit? Oh yeah, because the bathroom bit's like hilarious. But
well, no, specifically like what is the extent of the curse to the point like how did he know the prostate thing?
Oh
like,
yeah,
he said he heard it. Remember, okay, we get this established very early on in the film where he says, "I'm a bad father," which obviously on its face is already fucking subjective, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's like ex-wife disagrees. It's like, no, you're not a bad father. You just fuck up in these ways. When you're here, you are good. He fucking looks up to you. You're there for him. You clearly care a lot about him. It's like all of that shit is going on. So he's saying something that is true to him. He is telling the truth. He truly believes he's a bad father. And he probably did hear that if you hold your piss in too long, you could damage your prostate.
And not get
it doesn't mean it's objectively true in the fucking universe. It just means he was telling the truth when he said that. You could be honest and wrong. And we don't even know that he was wrong.
And then there's the thing about, like, sometimes he can just walk away from a situation. Sometimes he has to answer the question, or he feels like he has to answer the question.
Well, he's always like panically running away from people asking him questions. Like anytime he goes through the office to get to his secretary and all that, like he has to basically ignore everybody, otherwise he's gonna insult everybody along the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like one of those things. Just like you just can't tell you can't tell a different truth. Like, that's the thing. It's like you can't just be like, yeah, what's the word? Like, it's like, how's it hanging?
Well, it's more.
He also doesn't get to think about it. That's why he's so worried later on. It's because, much like the example, the first lie, I've had better. It's not about what truth he chooses to say. It's what immediately comes to mind. It's only at the very, very end he starts to control it like a little bit by saying things that are true, but help him a little bit more.
Yeah, because he can't just walk away. Like essentially, he
But
can't
that's
just
after
not
living
answer.
with it for a day.
Yeah.
And what about he can't ask questions if he knows the answer is a lie? I felt like that was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, like
yeah, they made it so like that if a lie is involved at all, he seems to shut down.
So, it might actually be consistent though, because like, is he ever put in a position where he knows something is a lie and says it that way?
Well, I guess the thing is, like, when he spilled his guts to that cop, technically, like, even with the unpaid parking tickets, like, I guess not saying something would be a lie of omission.
Maybe.
No, it's because the cop specifically says anything else.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And there was something else.
And he does not have the ability to just stay silent. Staying silent is just not
Nope.
an option.
Well, that would be dishonest. If somebody asks him a question, he has to provide the immediate, honest answer to that question.
In like a compulsive way. Like it's literally just immediately just spews out.
So yeah, I do actually think the truth-telling curse is mostly consistent. Like I said, he does kind of weirdly get a bit of a grip on it towards the very end to help wrap up his court case. But on the whole, it's generally fairly consistent in the way it works, at least as far as I can say.
Yeah. Maybe. God, I'm just trying to think, and it's like, yeah, I guess it is oddly consistent, but like,
I feel like the least consistent it gets is when it turns his hand semi-sentient.
Yeah,
like it actually
odd.
fully embraces like the Fae curse shit, and it's like, okay, hang on, what the fuck, dog?
They just wanted to have the bit where he wrestled with himself and wrote it all over his own face.
In really decent handwriting.
Really decent handwriting for backwards and where you can't see it.
I don't know if you've ever tried writing on your own face, but that shit's hard.
That fucking pen bit still kills me though. His pen is...
I was going to say, I love how he can't just say it's blue. He knows the specific kind of blue.
Well, because he's trying to say red, but he's a royal blue. It's a very strange movie. It's really entertaining. Like, damn, dude, like the entire time I was smiling and having a gay old time. But there is like this weird like feeling it leaves you with if you think about it for too long.
Well, similar to other, we mentioned earlier about the divorced dad movie as a kind of a weird late 90s, early 2000s sort of trope that was going on, where you do get that character, the other guy, the replacement husband, and he's always some like smiley, generically good person NPC looking ass.
Yeah.
Another example is the who's the curly-haired therapist guy from the Santa Claus movies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that kind of character.
Oh, these cookies.
The one who like wore nothing but like absolutely fucking abominable Cosby swears. And his greatest wish since he was a child was a fucking Weenie Hut Junior fucking whistle. I remember that movie too well.
A little bit, but you
And
I
know.
used to love
meanwhile,
those as a kid.
I think I've only seen Jingle All the Way like once.
No, he's talking about the Santa Claus with Tim Allen,
sorry,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally no one was talking about that
You
except
you were correct.
You were literally thinking of a different
I was
movie.
thinking, yeah,
A
different
Tim
movie
Allen
altogether.
movie.
Yeah, I was thinking of a different movie altogether. Wow.
Mhm.
You just love Arnold that much.
I mean,
Ah.
who doesn't?
Although, actually, did Jingle All the Way have that? Because it's a similar
Yes, he
thing of
did.
like the
It's
dad
it's
trying to go like the full length for his son.
Yes, that's exactly why I brought it up.
except for the other guy was actually a shitter.
No, the other guy was weirdly like he specifically wanted to fuck Arnold's wife.
Like it was his goal in life.
What was happening in the Hollywood scene around like the late 90s, early 2000s that made all of these writers just like
apparently a lot
weirdly
of
on this
cuckoldry.
fucking just this weird fucking cuckold hang up they all had going on for some fucking reason.
Well, like
Well,
shit.
it is kind of a weird thing because, like I said, I was making the joke about like that thing not aging well, but it's like, wait a minute, it kind of just happens in a lot of fucking areas, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Maybe-
cuckoldry, it's coming back around.
I think
it's coming.
you know-
He's taking it
It's
back.
currently in style.
But it's currently in style. It's in. Pirates are in right now.
I think
Cuckolds are in
90s
right now.
I think the 90s was a time where, everyone felt like they were very progressive. Like it's the 90s, and so they're trying to be
No.
more representative. And,
Excuse
like-
me, as someone who lived through the 90s, the fuck are you on about?
Well, that's just a phrase that I've heard a lot.
Progressive
But-
shit didn't start until like 2012.
Yeah.
Well, not progressive in the way that we mean progressive.
Well,
So,
progressive.
okay,
But-
please tell me progressive that you mean in the 90s.
Well, she's
Well, I
talking
mean,
about she's talking about the insurance company, right?
Yeah,
No.
Flow.
Well, I'm surprised that you're not familiar with this. I guess I
There
mostly
is-
I've
there
did-
was-
never
there-
heard
there-
somebody refer to the 90s as progressive.
There is like a thing where like we were becoming more progressive. Like if you want to use the actual like literal term, yeah, we're better. We were being better as we kept going. True.
Okay,
Like, there was
but
this-
like the
like-
the 80s would have been progressive compared to the like time
Yeah,
is
that's what
fucking
I'm.
progressive.
That's what I'm.
Well, yeah,
that's what I'm
what-
saying. That's what I'm saying.
It
I'm not
means
saying-
nothing. What do you mean when you say the 90s was about them being progressive?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people in the 90s thought they were progressive because
yeah.
they were more
Yeah,
liberal
but
about
I-
sex, about
But I feel
What
this
does
is
that have
such
to do
a.
with Jim
same-sex
Carrey?
relationships.
Yeah, but I
about-
feel like
But
that's.
that
But I feel like
applies to everyone. The
Yeah, I
60s
was-
were progressive as fuck compared to the 50s.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say, like, yeah, it's such a broad term that you're saying, Sarah. that It's like, yeah, we are always more progressive. You know what I mean? Like, we are always progressing, and
I guess I
like
saw.
we're more tolerant, more like all of this than we were 10 years ago.
I wasn't
Well, I don't
paying
know about
Time
attention
is
for
now.
like
progressive.
0.2
Clocks are
seconds.
libtards.
I wasn't paying attention for like 0.2 seconds. How the fuck did we get here?
Listen, time is retarded.
Time's shut, God. You know, I would. You know what? As a retard, I would like to claim that word back, so we can actually say it like openly and liberally.
I mean, we do.
I was mostly basing it on that phrase. It's the 90s. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Okay, but-
just
Okay, you've probably heard us say the phrase current year as a sort of like a mocking thing of like exactly that thing because it's been a thing since the 90s. Like, oh my god, it is literally 2017 and you're still doing blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's such a non-argument vacuous statement that we've evolved it into, I can't believe you're doing X, Y, and Z in current year, and we just use it for like ridiculous bullshit because
I'm not saying
it's
it's
a vacuous
valid.
No,
I'm just-
I'm just saying it's like, yeah, that thing that you're describing, it's not specific to the 90s. That's my point.
Okay.
It's sort of like a pan thing that people apparently always do or always have done. Like people did that in the 60s. Like, oh, come on, it's 65, it's fucking Summer of Love. Try some LSD, Mr. Weird Stockbroker Man. It's like, it's kind of always been a thing. It's just not a 90s thing.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
applying it directly to this in that context, I think that's why it's all kind of catching something in our heads as like, ooh, no, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
you're
Well,
just getting
where I was
literally.
going with it was I thought that maybe they were trying to be more representative of the fact that there are so many divorced relationships in
I was
like
just making the joke that they were just
in
all
general.
cucks, and because that's just how the weird like thing works. Because with like all the weird Me Too shit that's come out like 10 years later, so that's what I was referencing towards.
You know, we're
The
moving.
unconventional family structure, more so in the mid 2000s, early 2010s, you did see like a big push for that. It's like not all families look like the stereotypical like sitcom thing. So we have more divorced parents, more parents going through shit. It's like, and The Simpsons kind of kickstarted that because they were like an inverse of the traditional sitcom setup. But it was also like specifically this thing where like the replacement guy is this overly wholesome fucking NPCs who's like, yeah, he's healthy, but he's shit, and fuck that guy.
I feel like it's also interesting because I mean, we usually think of well, let me start over. um the cultural norm is to side with the mother and to give her like custody of the children or like to sort of lean on the female side in a divorce proceeding or in these situations, and yet we have these male protagonists who are showing okay the father is really important too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Which
that's
you got rewarded $11 million. They absolutely took her side.
But it kind of shows that in both sides, yeah. It shows like in this case, yeah, our protagonist is like the quote unquote bad dad, but also in the actual court proceeding in this movie that establishes that that bitch also got 11 fucking million and she didn't deserve it.
Yeah, she definitely.
It's like you said, I was the victim who threw my arms into another man. 7.
That whole scene was hilarious.
And the
It was
breakdown at
one
the end is
little
like
indiscretion.
kids aren't leveraged. That like that scene hits because you see
yeah.
that conflict come up for him. It's like, yeah, I'm participating in the exact same system that's basically fucked me.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly poignant, considering it was
Yeah.
mostly an excuse for him to pull funny faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that killed me in the when the kid's trying to ask all the weird questions. He's like, if I do this, will my face will it stick? It's like, no, you can actually make a career out of that.
Yeah, I like that meta joke
Pretty
because
good
it's
meta line.
basically yeah. Some people make a lot of money doing that. It's like yeah, Jim Carrey.
Especially James Cameron.
Yeah, fucking old Jim Bob the Carrey.
Jim Bobulus Lifter Man.
I did really appreciate seeing bloopers again. Like, been going
They're
through a lot
not
of
a
old
thing
movies.
anymore,
They're
and
not really a thing anymore.
You have to go
it was
online and
it's
find
really
them.
refreshing.
no,
And it
let's
reminded
face
me.
it, the gag reels of today are even lesser.
Yeah, and like it just reminded me because like you were going, it's like oh, he's like ruining these takes. It's like no, he's actually just a goofball. Like I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes shit for Bruce Almighty, which hey, we might get into that later. But the idea is just that a lot of the shit that Jim does is just Jim being Jim.
Oh
And
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a lot of takes are like quote unquote ruined because he's making everybody laugh so hard. And
Yeah,
there's a
that's
point
what
where you can
yeah.
actually you point
That's
you can
what I was
actually see
saying.
where what's the hot chick's called? What's her name? The whatever the winner at the end of the movie. Like there's a point where you could see her like turn her head, but like you could clearly see that she's like trying to hide a smile, so she's turning away from the camera.
Oh, Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
Still a baddie, by the way.
Oh my god.
So what else has she been in?
I even like her voice, even though it's like
So,
a weird
She's
hot
how fucking dare you?
I
She is
only
the
knew-
bride of Chucky.
So I
Oh.
only knew her as the person who did the voice for Bonnie from Family Guy,
Bonnie. Oh.
Joe's wife.
Okay.
Joe's wife from Family
That's
Guy.
her most famous role to you?
Joe's wife?
If you
I
just
mean-
see like
She's
just
been a
see
horror
one act-
icon for decades, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, like her voice is so fucking unique. That's like she's so
really
instantly
unique.
recognizable.
I mean, to be
It's
fair,
like-
she's been doing Bonnie for like 20-something years now. which
Yeah,
is-
true.
like, and I was going to say this is actually where my age will show, because I was like, oh, Family Guy has literally been on almost as long as I've been alive.
Ugh. Anyway, let's not talk about the aging bullshit.
Hey,
Yeah, let me just.
time is a libtard.
Time is a libtard. In fact, it's that woke shit.
Oh no, time is woke.
Time is woke.
Time has an agenda.
Wyatt, I brought the RPG specifically for that truck.
I was going to say, don't mind me. I'll just be bait for you.
That truck has killed me more times than anything in this entire fucking game. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, oh, and I guess we didn't really touch on it that much, but in the recording. But yeah, the liberal use of the R word, like it's.
I mean, there
weird
is
how-
only one use of it, but it does really kind of
no,
hit
well,
home.
I wanted to bring it up as a greater point because it's like, yeah, that was a thing back then where it's just like, yeah, it wasn't that offensive.
Yeah, you would just.
Oh
say
yeah, it
someone's a
wasn't
retard.
until
Like, it wasn't until people just became retarded about it, and that's what it became like a bad thing.
One
You
of
know what
my.
I mean?
I
Like,
only remember it becoming a thing when I saw the girl with Down syndrome on Glee, and then
what?
they made a commercial with her and Jane Lynch, and she was saying this word is offensive and blah 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 blah.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Glee Club. They're like, oh, look how retarded.
Look
she
how
is.
retarded
I was just
she is.
saying, because that
Oh my
would have
God.
honestly just made my whole fucking week. Dog.
No, that just reminded me of like a new, like I think it's a newer South Park episode. It has to be because it's got PC Principal. He's like, who put retarded in the school newspaper? And it points to fucking Jimmy. What are you gonna do, PC Principal?
Because I used to use that word all the time.
Yeah.
And
Everyone did, and still should.
Listen, be based, bring it back. Stop
bring
being
it back.
fucking offended at everything.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's just
be
that's the
offended
thing,
at
is that, like,
nothing.
it literally doesn't offend the retard.
But
So why
here's
does it
the
offend
difference,
you?
right? Like, okay, I not one time have I ever called a retarded person retarded. If
Oh,
that
that
makes
shit's
sense.
so much fun. You should try it.
No,
What?
I mean like somebody that is genetically
Hold on,
retarded.
excuse you. I'm right here.
I call you a fucking communist.
Yeah,
'cause you fucking know.
yeah, Ninja. Yeah, what you said. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you meant was you've never called a disabled person retarded. You've called
Yes.
retarded
No.
people retarded a lot.
No, I've called medically retarded people not retarded.
I've called them retarded. It's fun.
Yeah.
Howard
Max
Stern
just
had
had to one up me there.
Howard Stern had a whole bit about it. It was fucking
Spell
Gary the
red.
retard or whatever.
Yeah, spell red.
AUSACRD. Close, but no. You cannot show that bit ever on anything. Count to 6. 37. For those of you who don't are like confused, there was a fucking Howard Stern bit, and God, it was fucking gorgeous. Anyway, but yeah, that was our retarded bit on Liar Liar.
Yeah.
I rated 6 retards out of 10 libtards.
I rated 7 retards out of 8 libtards.
I think I'm happy to give it, 6 clocks out of 1 libtard.
I like this new style of measurement. It should stay.
So just stealing high boys shit. Fuck it. I rate this 6 hot dogs out of 10 hamburgers.
Anyone else got anything left to say?
And if you do, you're lying. Amen. I learned that if, sometimes you're trying to focus on your schedule, your child will put a fucking curse on you.
We'll see you all next
Well,
week.
actually, there is one thing.
Oh,
More
okay.
of a confession than like an actual point, but the thing is, I'm a surgeon.
I'm a surgeon.
Cover me.
surgeon.
Oh,